Hello, this is Betty. I'm a nutritionist and I help you overcome chronic diseases as well as transition you to a plant-based diet. If this topic is interesting for you, please subscribe to this channel. But today I want to talk about something that is it's a very interesting story how my kids got their names. If that's interesting for you, please keep watching. Don't wanna expand it too much, but I just wanna say that this is a very interesting story, especially with the second son. But I want to tell you that I have two sisters. I always had cousins mostly, and then when I got to be pregnant with Reef, and I got to know very early when he was just 13 weeks inside of the belly that it's gonna be a boy, I was so shocked because we were always having just girls in the family, and then I'm like, oh, my dad is gonna be so happy to have a grandson, first time a male member of the family. And the whole pregnancy, we didn't really know what's gonna be the name, because the name for boys is quite difficult, especially that we are a multilingual family, so whatever sounds good for me doesn't sound good in different languages. And my husband was so picky, like unreal. Like I'm like, this is just the name, who cares? But he is so picky, like, this is not good, this is not good, everybody calls him this. He was really picky. The first time we got to think about certain name was Reef, which is crazy. And we thought it's gonna be Reef, but that's just like passed by, oh, Reef, maybe this, maybe Reef, okay. And then we asked my husband's brother son, who was 5 years old, and we asked him what's gonna be the name for the boy, and he says Reef, like suddenly. And we are like, wow, interesting. That's the only name that kind of was like, there. And then the pregnancy was going. We asked so many friends. We were traveling a lot. We were in Hawaii, I was in Miami. We were in so many places in the world that we passed through so many people, and we asked everybody what will be the name. And everybody told us amazing, sweet, beautiful names, but nothing was really what we really wanted. We loved the name Sunny, but we feel like Sunny, it's kind of cheesy a little bit, I thought, like Sunny. So we loved that name. There were so many other names that we really loved, and beautiful names. But we kind of hesitated, and then five months later, when I was, I don't know, eight months pregnant, we asked again that boy, and we asked him, so what do you think the baby is going to be called? And he says, Reef, I told you. And we are like, this is like unreal. It's 5 years old boy, like who is so consistent by, and he didn't even see me every day. It's like spontaneously here and there we are meeting, for a family gatherings, and he says it's gonna be Reef, I told you. And then, slowly I was getting closer to giving birth, and then I was sure it's not gonna be Reef, actually, because Reef for me was really rough, and I felt like Reef, my R is like, I'm not English speaking fluent, I don't know, R, how will I say Reef, or I say Reef, I didn't really know I wasn't sure, So yeah, I'm holding baby Reef already in my hands, and I really thought it's gonna be a baby Dylan. I was somehow thinking about this name, like, it's Dylan, it's nice, it's, it's gonna be, it sounds nicer, easier. And Reef was such a small baby. He was really tiny when he was born, so I'm like, Reef, this is Reef, like, this is just a baby. But we decided it's gonna be Reef, and it's Reef. And I love this name. Everybody told me it's a beautiful name. We love this name. I think it's exactly what we wanted for Reef. This fits him so good. But when it comes to second name, when I got to know that I'm pregnant with another boy, I was so happy, because I really wanted to have another boy. And when I went to the doctor, and the doctor asked me, so what do you want? You want a boy or a girl? And I say, I really want a boy. He's like, oh, so you have a girl at home? And I'm like, no, actually I have a boy as well. He looks at me like, what a weirdo. But I really wanted to have a boy. And then another story, like, what will be the name? And this time, from the lesson I've learned, like, I wanted to have a name that is the way you write it in a Latin language. That's the way it sounds. So with Reef is double E. So for Polish people, they pronounce it Ref or Refi, or all kinds of weird pronunciations that people have no idea that it has to be And until today, there are people that asks me, how is Refi? How? You know, all kinds of weird interpretations, because that's what it is in the Polish language. That's how you pronounce it's not e. So that was the thing that I wanted to avoid next time. So I really wanted a name that the way you write, the way you read. I wanted an R, starting with R, just because it's a good match, and I know it sounded good for us. Yeah, that was pretty much for me, you know, like something to consider. And then we still didn't have a name. It was very hard for us to decide. But because we had Rif, we asked him, what do you think, what's gonna be? And then like to the middle of the pregnancy, he told me a name, Nuka. And I'm like, Nuka? Well, I'm like okay, I'm good with it, meaning like it's just a name, I don't really care. It can be Nuka, Rif decided, Rif created it. I'm like, okay, it can be Nuka. And then my husband says like, Nuka. I'm like, Nuka, Luka, who cares? It's just a name. Like, let's just decide on a name because I want to call this baby somehow. And so we actually thought it's gonna be Nuka. It's really getting closer to giving birth, and I'm thinking like, is this my baby Nuka? Do I really feel? And we were talking to everybody that this is Nuka, and we even forgot about thinking about names. Like, this was it. And I really love the name Kayo. I love the name Kayo, and I love the name Kai. And for them it was like too cheesy. My husband, it's too cheesy. Everybody's Kai, yeah, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, but you decided on Reef. I'm gonna decide on this one. And this was like, we agreed on it. I'm gonna decide. And so I researched what actually Nuka means, because I thought like, okay, if this is gonna be Nuka, I at least have to know what name it is. And so I researched it, and I don't remember, I think it was in the Nordic language, and it said Nuka with K written. It's younger brother, or in general younger sibling. And I was shocked. I'm like, this can't be, like, this is just not happening. Like, how the heck did my son create this name, like Nuka? Like, for me, it's like such a sign from the universe. Like, until today, we called Rio Nuka, and we are calling him Nuka because this is Nuka. Like, we call him Nuka. It's unbelievable. Like, if you don't find it unbelievable, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I find it so amazing. Like, he called his brother Nuka. The way, it's just insane. So I read it, and I'm like, I was shocked. But because it said a younger sibling, or it said a second sibling, we thought like, he can't be second, he's an individual, he needs to be first, the same as Reef is first, like this is, you know, equal. That's what we thought about. Like, we didn't like that he's gonna be second. And then I came across, I don't know how, but I came across the name Rio, and I love the fact that you can write it the way you read it, and it's and Rio was made in Portugal, if you know what I mean. So I said, like, Portuguese name, it sounds good, I like it, and I wanted Rio. We also really love the name Ray, and this was one of our options. It was between Rio and Ray. And so we called the same boy that said it's gonna be Reef, and at the same time he was with his sister and other friends as he was in school. So we, you know, on the speaker talked to him, and we asked him, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer Rio or Ray? And they all said we loved Rio. And I think it's a great tip, and I really think it's the most important tip when it comes to creating names. It's we should ask the younger community, like we should ask the kids, because they will stay with those names, because they know what's in fashion and what's cool and what's, you know, a good name. Rather, you know, we call it something that we think it's nice, but actually it's because there's fashion for it and because the parents like it. So I really am happy that we created these two names based on what the kids said, what the kids wanted. I loved it. I think it's a great and important tip to think about. I loved Kayo, so I said like Rio is a compromise. But I love Rio. I love the name Rio. Everybody really admires the name Rio as well. Yeah, it makes us feel good. Like when Rio was born, we felt like it's complete. Like everything fell in the right place, and we love the name Rio, and we love the name Reef, and the Nuka is just such a, you know, combination of amazing coincidence and universe sending energy. I don't know. It's such a beautiful story. I really love sharing this story because I until today can't believe that this was the situation, and it just makes me feel and realize that Rio and Reef are such a powerful combination. They are such amazing brothers. They're so loving, they're so caring, they're so supporting. And Reef tells me I want more brothers like Rio. It's so fun to have a brother. Of course, not always. But he often says this to me, like, I want more brothers, I want a team, I want the team that will support me and protect me. And they are amazing together. And that story shows me that it was just meant to be. They are such great siblings and soulmates, and it's just unbelievable. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.